Well, hello and good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome to Zyxel's Tech Talk. My name is Tri Nguyen. I am the North American Product Manager, Sales Manager here at Zyxel. And I'm glad that you're here to talk about some of our partner solutions that we have, how to benefit from it as well, but also give you a good introduction on products that we have and solutions that we offer through our portfolio. We have a lot of slides to go through. As usual, I'd love for you to be interactive with me. So if you'd like to use the Q&A section to ask questions during the webinar, I'd greatly appreciate that, and I'd try to answer those as best as I can throughout the presentation. How many of you here today are brand new partners, maybe within the last month or so? I just want to get a show of hands. I know I have a lot of people who come here and watch the webinars every month just to kind of get a refresher and updates. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for being a partner with us. All right, we got a few others as well. Thank you for being partners. All right, let me go ahead and just jump in. A quick introduction of who Zyxel is and what we do here and how we can help you as a solution provider for networking. So we are Zyxel Networks. We've been in business for over 35 years now, 100 million devices making global connections worldwide, 700 employees serving 150 markets, and over 1 million businesses use Zyxel products today. We work with industry-leading partners, ones like A10, Ekahau, Wirestorm, McAfee, Norton, Webroot, Bitdefender to provide their solutions, their expertise into our products and to integrate those as well. Those are just a short list there. Also, a short list of some of the award-winning brands that we've had. We've been recognized worldwide through different venues, different publications, and different awards out there. And so we have some exciting news and exciting awards that are going to be coming up as well in the near future. We are a channel-based partner program, channel-friendly solution provider, hardware provider. We work through the different regions here in North America. So David, Chin, Andy, and Jacob manage the Canadian Eastern region, the Western region, and the Central region. So wherever you may be located is where we have somebody who is involved with you from a pre-sales, post-sales, from a distribution side. Any questions that you have, if you want to bring in systems engineers in there, if you have any tech support calls, issues as well, we can help to kind of mediate all of that through these representatives here. So they are your advocates here at Zyxel. So jumping into the solution, primarily we provide hardware solutions, networking hardware. And one of the biggest pieces that holds it all together, like a glue, in a system, is what we call Nebula. And that is our cloud managed solution that manages all the entire network stack. That really differentiates us in the SMB versus a lot of the standalone competitors that are out there. A lot of them do, certain items well, but they don't have that complete package and complete solution as we have. So we pretty much are, in that top tier in our award-winning platform here at Nebula. But just why traditional management? If you're looking at becoming an MSP and looking for a solution that provides you that, this is something that you definitely look into. Because if you're trying to build your own MSP network, you have to buy the equipment, you have to install the equipment, you have to then have some sort of system in there to manage it, either via SNMP, syslogs. So you have to set up those kinds of servers, make sure that all of the products will work with that. You need to have access to the equipment, either from a remote access through a VPN tunnel or maybe some secure MPLS line. So you have to get in there. You have to have a monitoring program, something that maybe even an open source or SolarWinds, something that gives you information when something might be going wrong. You then have to invest in where that's going to be co-located, cloud servers and data centers, all of that adding up to the cost. Again, manpower and adding up costs. And then being able to manage all of those devices, doing patch upgrades, doing configuration changes, things like that add to, of course, the manpower. And then the user management, when you have your customers needing to add users, adding devices, adding different equipment to it, and to be able to manage maybe even guest network access, it adds to that as well. So with the cloud networking platform that we offer in Nebula, it allows for you to kind of streamline all of this. You still have to purchase the equipment, you still have to go and do the installation, but we do make it very simple and easy. You can get up and running within 5 or 10 minutes with firmware upgrades as well. You don't need to invest in monitoring equipment. You don't need to have any sort of back doors and access to that equipment. We provide you with the monitoring platform, all in one for the entire stack, switches, security, and wireless. The data storage you don't have to worry about because it's part of our cloud platform already, holding up logs for up to 365 days. It also simplifies updates and setting changes throughout the whole network for your customers. It's a single pane of glass that can manage multiple customers, multiple users within each customer, and provides you basically a cloud radius, built-in authentication, as well as captive portal and guest network access as well. So that's where Nebula comes in. It's a hassle-free network management solution of your entire stack of networking. You may have networks right now where you may be operating with 3 different vendors on there and you're using 3 different platforms or controllers that you're managing. Here gives you the opportunity to put it all under one umbrella, one vendor to work with from a support standpoint and interoperability of the products that we support. It's easy to set up even without unboxing the device. So from an installation standpoint, you can scan the QR code, the MAC address, and serial number if you need to, implement that into your cloud portal. And once that device gets up online, gets access to the internet, it's going to go and call home and be able to get online within minutes. It will download its configuration identity and it's going to download its updated firmware and be available on the Nebula Cloud for you to manage, or even you can pre-configure that all you want. So all of this gives you access anytime, anywhere. There's internet connectivity. Anywhere you have a browser, you'll have access to it. Or you can use the app to get a lot of information and do a lot of onboarding through that app. You can do it without adding additional hardware or software. There's no additional cloud keys. There's no additional servers. There's no additional firewalls or standalone boxes or computers that you have to install in that network to get this kind of information. You get all of that built into the hardware. So the benefit of it is whether you're using just a switch, you're using just an access point, or you're using just our gateway, any one of those single pieces can report directly back to Nebula. So it allows for you to scale, allows for you to move up. Maybe your entry to that network is using Wi-Fi as your lead in. And after they have been using your Wi-Fi, or maybe you see there's a benefit to it to have additional monitoring on the switch side from a security standpoint, adding gateways to it, you can move along and upgrade that network to that. It gives you secure guest network access as well. So if you want to add a captive portal with a voucher system, you want to do device user management, you want to manage guest isolation, all of that is included within this platform, and of course, using the appropriate hardware that supports it as well. You can establish VPN tunnels very easily as well for managing remote users. You can site to site, hub and spoke, meshing of different tunnels, or site to site, site to device. You can do auto remote access point to do a secure tunnel as well. That's called secure Wi-Fi, and you can do that implemented for that remote network access. I know I'm going on a lot, doing things really quickly here, but it's going to give you an overview of what we do. And most importantly, I think is the takeaway is this Nebula platform is something, if you haven't used it, haven't tried it, it's going to give you that top tier level of information and the management of your network to make, again, everything easy. I don't think as an IT person, I would never install something that I had zero visibility. So I would advise to think about, at least consider, instead of just a unmanaged switch somewhere, to put managed devices in there so you can get that visibility, so that you know how to tackle when there is some sort of network issue, or maybe someone's infected, that you have some information to be able to give you a general direction of what's going on, at least remotely, without having to have somebody on site. So that built-in user management gives you access to then 2-factor authentication applications, WPA2 and 3 enterprise if you're doing 802.1x authentication on the Wi-Fi, or passphrases, user access, guest network access, etc. And also team management using our MSP pack. If you are an MSP, that's something that you would want to consider. And we'll talk a little bit more about what the MSP pack also includes. We do have a more in-depth webinar training on Nebula as well that we do every month. If you're more interested in like the details of Nebula and configurations, etc., you can jump into that one. Typically, it's around the third week of every month that we have that. It also gives you then Nebula gives you access then to uh, being able to make configuration changes, firmware upgrades across as many sites as you want. You can schedule them, you can do whatever suits your needs for each individual customer, each individual site, to keep everything up to date. And it can be done automatically as well, which most of our partners do. Most of our customers who use Nebula just set it for auto and they don't, need to worry about it. But there's some cases where they want to have a little bit more control. They want to make sure that everything is working and verified after that update happens. So, again, it's up to you how you want to do that. You can automate and auto deploy these the entire solutions. You can do cross organization synchronization of configurations. You can do templating. You can synchronize settings between those. You can do cloud backup and restore switch configurations, or clone switches, or clone devices, or even clone sites and configurations so that you can template things. You can come up with your best practice configurations for those types of customers and then be able to cookie cutter them into a new site or new organization and be able to just get them up and running and or make minor changes to it, maybe their SSID, some configurations, etc. That lets them on, lets those devices get that identity very quickly and very easily. So you can again pre-configure those devices even without taking them out of the box. So just think about having to send somebody to do an install. They don't have to be a network person. They just need to know how to and be trained on what products plug into what ports that you have configured. You can even use this as a self-install kit opportunity as well. So you give the customer a self-install kit instructions that lets them onboard it for you, and then you can confirm all of those configurations when when it gets back online. It also has a full suite of the entire wireless connectivity, anything that you would need from a wireless perspective, from an enterprise wireless, things like smart meshing, WPA3 enterprise security, roaming as a standard, doing traffic shaping, doing security at the edge with our connect and protect solution, and collaborative defense and response solutions that use the Wi-Fi as a security endpoint to help with that. And then advanced Wi-Fi features in our Pro package, which gives you things like we call Wi-Fi aid, Wi-Fi health and machine learning, and AI to help facilitate better Wi-Fi signaling, scheduling SSIDs if you need to, or even dynamic private pre-shared keys or personal pre-shared keys. So you have access to all of those kinds of feature functions for different types of solutions. And especially if you're using this for a single AP deployment or even hundreds of APs in a resort type scenario. Some of these features will benefit more in those scenarios. So usually Wi-Fi aid, Wi-Fi health for a one access point kind of network, because it's a small office or small business, you probably don't need that as much as when you do have a lot of interference or more Wi-Fi APs, you want to have that Wi-Fi health, Wi-Fi aid capability in the Pro package so that it can better facilitate moving clients to different APs as the signal and the channels are getting overused. You can visualize your network like never before. You have automated tools that can automate the network topology, give you real-time port PoE utilization, signal port status, things, virtual cloud stacking that you can drill into, gives you live diagnostic tools, even to do remote cable testing if you need to, application threat information, reporting, and visualization as well. Access to security that constantly is evolving in the network because you are putting in solutions that are updating from Trellix, Webroot, LifeLock. All of those threats are getting blocked and updated on a timely basis. And you can connect switches that really understand and give you information on that environment, like I mentioned, with the automatic topology, intelligent PoE to make sure that you're not consuming power or more power than you need to for each device. You can do vendor-based VLAN, voice VLAN stacking, virtual physical cloud stacking. You can auto detect and connect PoE devices and reconnect them or repower or reboot them as well. Machine learning to identify any kind of network issues, maybe broadcast storms, being able to do a lot of this network security things on a switch, and gives you this scalable connectivity all in our Nebula platform. And currently we have over 100 networking devices on the switch, security, the Wi-Fi, and even some LTE products that are part of the family that is managed by Nebula. So Nebula consists of different kind of tiers. We have the base pack that comes with any Nebula capable device, and it is a base pack. Right now, it's a free offering. There's no additional cost there. For a minimal cost, you can get to the Plus pack that does add you some additional functionalities, a 30-day log instead of a 24-hour log. But most of our partners and who are doing MSP or need auditing for reporting and things like that go to the Pro pack, because that unlocks all of the AI features, all of the diagnostic tools, all of the 365 logs. And then if you have, I would say, more than 10 or 20 customers around there or more, you might want to go to an MSP pack. If you do have many, admins that are managing separate customers, and you want to be able to facilitate reporting, and rather than everybody gets a dump of all the reports, you can localize it to certain people will get certain customers reporting or information. So it allows for you to do a little bit more streamlined from a higher level. That MSP pack allows for that kind of cross-organizational management. So it makes it easy there. So again, network, the wireless on the side of Nebula is quite powerful. Some of the key features, like I did mention on a high level, single-click wireless mesh. So there's no complex configurations needed to extend Wi-Fi if you need to. Of course, we do encourage you to always use a cable Ethernet to deliver it to the device, but in some cases where you just need to add additional node or two on a Wi-Fi basis, you can do smart mesh with our Zyxel network access point. So you can do that in with just a single click of that. Enterprise class base Wi-Fi, again, with the roaming as a standard, WPA2. This is just a little bit of recap of what I told earlier. And then a key feature function that you'll find in our products as well is the dynamic personal pre-shared key. So instead of having multiple SSIDs for all these different people or different networks, you could literally have the single SSID to avoid confusion, and based on the passphrase key that they are using, puts them into the right bucket, or puts them into that right VLAN of that network. So you can have, hey, you can have a hotel that has both the private and the public, but based on the key, the guests are using a key that puts them onto the guest network. The private users are using the private key that takes them into the private network. So again, with a single SSID, without having to have 40 SSIDs or something, in your network, which, a lot of us see that, especially in higher density areas or business parks and things like that. The AI and machine learning for wireless is definitely top notch, and it is something that will help to solve many of your AP issues. So if you do have wireless challenges, using the Pro package with these APs, using smart antenna and using machine learning will help to adjust channels, adjust channel widths dynamically, and to put people into the right bands that are beneficial to them. So that improves Wi-Fi, not only just for that particular device, but opens up, for the entire network. So if you have more than, I would say, 5 or 10 APs in the network, you definitely want to go through this path, or go to this path on the Wi-Fi side. And we are proud to put RF in our design as a priority. So a lot of our products that you see, when you open it up, it's reliable. The connection in the design is made to improve the wireless signal, the shielding that you see, the heat sinks, all of that comes into play to try to best make the Wi-Fi work. One of the biggest challenges that we face today, especially with 2.5 or 2.4 gig and 5 gigahertz channels, is what was called co-channel interference. It's basically, when we have a conversation, if it's a one-on-one, you and I having a conversation, we can understand each other. But imagine you're like a restaurant or at a bar or at a club, when you start having a lot of noise, a lot more people trying to communicate, or even at a trade show floor, you're having to stand right next to them, but you're screaming in order to get your conversation across, right? So that's what co-channel interference is like on the Wi-Fi perspective. So we do have APs that do different things to help with that. So we have some products that are called dual optimized antenna APs. They usually end in the model name with a D. So that allows for you to choose whether you're doing a ceiling mount or doing a wall mounted AP. So if you took a ceiling mounted AP, which most APs in the market are made as a ceiling mount, and you decide to put it on the wall, what you're going to do is you're going to have the signal be going up and down through the floors and get interference through the walls, through the and to each other and through the floors. But when you do change it into a wall, that same AP into a wall mounted configuration, then the beam of it will change. It will optimize it so that it will put it across the floor or horizontally to the floor. So now you're getting better coverage on the floor as well as reduce interference between the floors. So that's one of the products that ends in the D. The other thing that you have to deal with co-channel interference is dealing with APs that are close to each other. You have to put the signal big enough to give you coverage. And in order to solve that noise, you could turn it down, but when you do turn down the power, you're going to lose that overlap and lose that coverage within that space. So it's not recommended, right? But you do, if you can manage that, that does help to improve co-channel interference. Like you and I, if we were in a bar again and everybody just talked a little quieter and we just spoke in a normal tone of voice, if everybody did that, no one would be screaming over each other. So that's kind of the same idea here. But what we do offer from a technology standpoint that stands out and it differentiates us is using a smart antenna capable access point. It increases capacity, increases coverage, reduces interference because of that smart antenna technology. So what is smart antenna? How does it work? Usually APs with omnidirectional or directional antennas, they focus their beam and signals either around or in a specific direction. But using smart antenna, and here's the comparison between smart antenna and the static. So a static antenna is just doing a circle there, and if there's interference that is in that network, maybe other devices, other APs, non-Wi-Fi interference, it can cause channelization interference to devices that are in that network. So how does smart antenna work? So what we do is same room, same place, same office, but what we use is our proprietary patented technology that will intelligently look at over 700 optimized antenna patterns and find the optimal antenna pattern for the communication between the AP and the client while reducing interference, around it. So it's similar to me speaking to you with my hands cupped so that you can hear me better, but at the same time doing this so that I can hear you better in that direction as well. So we're doing this dynamically with every client, at all the different times there. And that helps to improve overall noise interference and improves capacity of that network. And of course, end user, utilization. So how many of us have been to a Wi-Fi place or someplace that has Wi-Fi? You see 4 or 5 bars on your Wi-Fi, but you can't communicate anything. No traffic is being sent, right? It's because a lot of times you'll see a lot of high power devices. You see the Wi-Fi signal, but I can't communicate back. I can't speak loud enough to get back, or there's just too much noise that's causing me to resend my packets, and then nobody sends any packets. So this will help to reduce that. So again, combination of smart antenna plus the AI Wi-Fi health band steering functions within the nebula will help to reduce all of those challenges that you have with Wi-Fi today. And our products are split in the Wi-Fi into different categories: simplicity, flexibility, ultimate series, and for different projects. So you have your small offices, your small medium businesses, maybe enterprise level type projects, and verticals like hospitality or warehousing, all of that. So depending on the range that you're looking for, the products that you or the solution you're looking for, we have something that will fulfill those different applications and different budget levels. Of course, I'm always a proponent of putting, if you're having problems and it's a challenging environment, you should probably put the best that there is, so that you can mitigate all of that, rather than going, well, what is the lowest possible one that I could put that it's good enough, right? It depends on your customer again. If they're satisfied with something that can manage, can work, so be it. But if they want something that really performs so they don't have problems, then you definitely want to look at that. Again, smart antenna technology for that. And we're moving now from Wi-Fi 6 into Wi-Fi 7. So it does open up, again, another opportunity. If some of you haven't upgraded to, from AC to AX yet, you can even do the leapfrog and jump to Wi-Fi 7. It's becoming more affordable, but it does give you some additional benefits. The biggest benefit, one of the biggest benefit besides bandwidth, is what's coming out is part of our Wi-Fi 7 is the multi-link operation. So right now, in order for a device to connect to Wi-Fi, it either connects by 2.4 or 5 gigahertz, right? So it has to choose one or the other. And when it makes the connection, it's kind of set, it sends traffic. But with multi-link operation with Wi-Fi 7 and a device that ultimately supports multi-link operation, it could technically communicate on all three radio channels, 2.4, 5 gigahertz, and 6 at the same time. So it's simultaneous. It allows for you to increase the data rate, increase reliability by having those multiple links and multiple bandwidths there. And it helps to avoid interference as well by choosing the best pocket of communication at that particular type of airtime or that particular point in airtime. So the AP, Wi-Fi 7 AP, our flagship, is our WBE 660S. It's a 22 gigabit 5 triple radio access point. It's the world's first Wi-Fi 7 access point with smart antenna technology. And then, of course, the insides of it, there's anti-noise shielding. There's high performance FEMs there for signal boosting performance amplifiers. There's cellular 4G, 5G kind of filters, et cetera, in it to minimize interference from those cellular networks. The smart antenna technology that I mentioned, the heat spreading of the shielding, to keep the heat flow out of the device. 10 gig uplinks. It's also PoE++ powered. So it's going to need that for from on the switching side, and it's has a ultra high surge protection as well. So this is great for high density locations. You have schools, you have maybe large warehouses that have a lot of interference, or hotels. This gives you a great opportunity, or maybe even a car dealership side where you might have public open Wi-Fi outside, and then display insides as well with many different divisions. A lot of people are traveling through those kinds of buildings in order to get and still have Wi-Fi access, or to connect some high bandwidth applications, maybe doing some VR, online gaming, broadcasting, production, those kinds of things in that from a wireless space perspective. And then moving on to the switch networking side of things, we have powerful technology in the switch space. Again, powered by Nebula, using the hardware that's available within the switch and the functions that are there, giving you faster, smarter ways of managing the infrastructure side. So just as a recap, with gigabit multi-gig, you want to use either Cat 6 or Cat 6A if you're trying to get to that 10 gigabit at the farthest distance. To get the full 100 meters on the Cat cabling, you have to go to the Cat 6A to get that for 10 gig. But all of those will support at least the 100 meters at a 5 gig clip and give you the full PoE plus and plus plus power through the Ethernet. And so now we're moving into that PoE plus plus with a lot of these devices. You may already be dealing with it. The 60-watt PoE with maybe pan tilt zoom cameras or Wi-Fi APs that have heaters and things like that. So the main, I guess the mainstream PoE right now for most devices are sitting at the PoE plus, the 30 watt, which all of our products will support and be backwards compatible to the 15.4 watt, and the 60 watt products that you'll see. Typically they'll have 4 to 8 ports that have the 60 watt, and then the rest usually are a 30 watt to give you kind of, depending on what you need, gives you that hybrid offering. From a naming convention, ES is just 100 meg Ethernet. RG tends to be more of a ruggedized a switch. GS is a gigabit switch. MG is a multi-gig switch, usually 2.5 gig. XGS is a gigabit switch with 10 gig uplink. So the X is just a Roman numeral for 10. XMG is a multi-gig switch with either 2.5 and 5 gigabit with uplinks of 10 gig. And if it's an XS switch, that means all of the ports are capable of 10 gig or multi-gig, depending on what you are using inside. And then if it ends in HP, it's a PoE switch with standard power watts, usually around 375 watts. Some of the other higher end models have more. If it ends with EP, that's our eco-friendly power or low budget power for cost savings there. So usually around 180 watts. And if you see a device that says FP, then it's a full power, larger power budget of up to 960 watts. And if it ends in an F, it's a fiber version switch, meaning that the ports are mostly fiber transceivers and may have some copper as uplinks or as combo ports. SFP is just a gigabit fiber port, and SFP Plus is a 10 gig fiber port. And soon you'll start seeing more of the SFP, dash 28s, etc., to get you some higher bandwidth speeds later on. And then we have a full array of different transceivers for both gigabit and 10 gig, depending on the distances and speeds that you need, as well as a direct attached cable for 10 gig. Makes it really easy and simple for you to uplink ports using a 10 gig built-in transceiver on a fiber cable already pre-made for 1 meter and 3 meter distances. And the feature set of our switches, again, is not just a unmanaged switch, but it gives you a full stack of functionality to improve your network management and network environment. Things like vendor-based VLANs, voice VLANs, automatic VLAN based on the device OUI or the device that you're using. It's great for phone systems or things like that you just need to put it on, power it on, and it will put it on a specific VLAN for you. Auto detect and recover PoE devices. So if it sees a certain kind of loss in traffic or things like that, it will try to repower that PoE port for you to try to bring that device that used to be there back online again. Intelligent PoE power, we use what we call intelligent PoE. It's based on what the device that's being powered actually consumes and puts that against the budget rather than reserving 30 watt or 60 watt on its classification against the budget. So if the device is a 30 watt classified device, but only is using 10 watts, then it's only going to put 10 watts against the budget rather than 30. So it gives you more power, more budget to power up more devices there. We have CCTV and IPTV broadcasting reporting. We have machine learning to identify those networking issues like I had mentioned before. So you want to be able to connect, visualize your network. Like I said earlier too, automatic topology, real-time port utilization. You can click into those ports, click into each one to look at bandwidth use, PoE use, clients that are on that, and be able to do diagnostics. And it gives you network resilience. Usually people think about network security on a gateway or firewall device, but it's also important to put network security at the layer 2 side on the switch infrastructure to make sure that everything is working. But it gives you cloud backup and restore of network configurations, port and user security like 802.1x authentication or user-friendly ACLs. You can do network protection with loop guard, DHCP guard to make sure people aren't flooding the network with DHCP requests or responses that are going to the wrong DHCP server or gateway. Network resilience like link aggregation, rapid spanning tree, switch routing, things like that can be configured within this platform as well. As long as your switch supports it, our Nebula platform can then manage it. Automate and deploy configurations with that cloud backup restore, making templates that can synchronize settings and help with that auto deployment, type scenarios. So your reach to your customers for small businesses, for enterprise or projects makes it really easy for you to go beyond even where you could drive if you want to manage that way. But again, we're broken into simplicity, flexibility, ultimate, and for project-based solutions there. So different models for different aspects. Of course, I would love for you to always be in the ultimate. It gives you the most feature sets, the most flexibility, the biggest power budgets, all of that in that ultimate series. because that's what our customers will standardize on that layer for a lot of the projects that they do, or for their managed services for their own infrastructure to manage their customers. They want to put those types of models in our 2220 series into that. But if you're looking to more of that break fix kind of scenario with management capability, then the flexibility is a great offering there. And if you're looking for just, hey, it's a simple switch, simple, rather than installing, or typically in a network where you would install an unmanaged switch, the 1915 gives you that level of feature function, but Nebula capable. So it gives you Nebula visibility, still gives you the VLAN bandwidth control capabilities at a very cost-effective price there. So if you're looking for just that entry level connectivity, we also offer then PoE injectors for different scenarios, 60 watt, 30 watt, and we are also releasing this month the 90 watt version that has a 10 gig uplink, gives you also ultra PoE that will do 90 watts of PoE on that injector. So a lot of new applications that have been opened up to the 90 watt as well. So our XMG 1915 series is our multi-gig. It's our new multi-gig switches, gives you both PoE options and a non-PoE version for 8-port, 10-port, 18-port configurations. But it gives you some ports that are gigabit, or other 16 ports, up to 16 ports, that will give you multi-gig 2.5, as well as a couple of 10 gig uplinks on the SFP Plus. XMG 1930 series, again, it's our multi-gig web managed and also Nebula managed. It gives you up to 60 watts of PoE on some of those ports, like 8 ports of it will be 60 watt, 20 port will be the PoE plus 30 watt, multi-gig. So you'll have 2.4 for 24 ports. You'll have 4 ports that are up to 10 gig multi-gig, and gives you a power budget of up to 700 watts available, depending on which solution, PoE Plus or Plus Plus, you're using. And our XGS 2220 series, we also have, basically, out of all these models, we have the gigabit only version. I wanted to highlight the 10 gig versions of those series, because in most networks, you're going to need as a core of 10 gig switches to take full benefit of those gigabit networks or multi-gig networks. So I definitely have to look into that. But our 2220 series has models like our 54FP that can give you up to 960 watts. These are our layer 2 fully managed switches with layer 3 capable functions and stacking as well. 600 watts in the 54 HP and up to 400 watts on the 30 HP models. It's Nebula Flex Pro. So a lot of these Ultimate Series models from switches, gateways, and access points all have like a 1-year Nebula Pro license included and bundled with it already. So it gives you that full feature set and full Nebula visibility there. Also includes then 10 gigabit uplink ports as well. And the XS 3800, it's a combination switch, either like a top of the rack type switch, gives you 10 gig, all 10 gig capable ports via SFP or copper, or combinations of that, depending on which way you flip the combo ports in this configuration. But this is also a fully layer 2 managed with Nebula support and layer 3 access functionality through licensing as well. So this is to connect small businesses easily together. You can connect to larger offices with more switches, maybe a core network that's 10 gig with your 10 gig uplinks. So any kind of solution that might need switching for your Wi-Fi or for your network, for your phone, for your cameras, we have full solution set there. And on the security side of things, we provide some powerful security solutions on the business side. So business class level security that we cover you from every angle. We empower some of the best in class security functions and partners partnered with a lot of them to provide different aspects to this solution. So we kind of combine everything from different vendors into a single platform solution to provide protection for web filtering, intrusion detection prevention, malware, virus protection, email, cloud security, geo IP enforcement based on IP addressing, device information for application control, IP reputation capabilities to identify IPs that are malicious, or maybe DNS servers that are bad, that's causing, potential security issues. And then application control and patrol to manage on a application level. So you can drill into the users by IP, by application, and control all of those different aspects and these different types of services under one platform. So all of our platform, all of our solutions have typically a 30-day trial enacted in it. So if you're looking at a customer who has not yet looked into how to block ransomware, how to block website or social media sites and things like that, you want to showcase that solution, you can install the hardware, and give them that 30-day trial, show them the reporting, show them the visibility that they have, like from a content filtering standpoint. Or if you're looking to do remote access using our APs, you can plug in an AP with secure Wi-Fi, build a layer 2 tunnel to your office firewall, and be able to have that tunnel mode, make it feel like and the experience like they were sitting in the office space and having access to those all those office resources, etc. Connect and protect, like I mentioned before, to use the APs themselves as an entry protection point, and be able to do some IP reputation and DNS-based scanning as well with the APs. And then using the full-fledged gold security package in our products that open up sandboxing, IP DNS reputation filtering, everything that a business would need from a security standpoint. So if you're doing more security sensitive types of applications, if you're in financials, or you're doing um, maybe in the healthcare side of things, the gold security package is what all of our partners who do that go to, because it gives you that top level, the most security that you can buy for the small business there. So that connect and protect is always great. Gives you application visibility, bandwidth throttling, threat protection, even at the AP level. And you can do this at the standalone as a standalone with the APs without the firewall. But of course, using them in conjunction with each other helps for that, to improve the detection and be able to do some collaborative defense response there. The security is also AI powered, being able to always be able to check for upcoming threats. Also, the sandboxing function to send unknown threats to the cloud for analysis and be able to populate the signatures and update signatures across the entire network, not just your own network, but the entire security network that's using that AI platform. Just a little more detail on what it would look like using a secure Wi-Fi, the AP building that secure tunnel makes it really plug and play for those kinds of applications. And then an intelligent network reporting tools. It's easy to monitor, manage, and identify threats using our Secu reporter function that's built into our Nebula that you can drill into. It gives you, information of all the logs. You can set up reporting, customized reports on what widgets and data that you want to send to your customers. And you can usually, most of our MSP partners will package that with their monthly bill, or quarterly bill, whatever it is, to give to the customer so they can see, well, what am I paying for in these security packages or in your managed services? So it seamlessly works within Nebula to switch between that Nebula and Secu reporter side. And because it's, we're dealing with ever-changing threats and different demands on how people use networks today and how to secure that, our security constantly has to evolve. So we're doing that effort without your effort. So you're just being able to make sure that the device is functional, and we're working with our partners to constantly evolve and to update those threats or update against those threats. And it's there to protect your users. So connect and to protect, collaborative response allows for us to detect if a device has some sort of security issue and be able to take actions like isolating them from the AP that they're connected to. And so to be able to tell that AP to do those things is a great, again, benefit of using all Zyxel products in that solution, even though you're not required to. It's a central place to synchronize and provision all of your security standards. So it helps if you have a profile that you're trying to manage across all of those customers or all of the sites for a particular customer that has multiple offices. You want to be able to manage that for those multiple sites and the security, the security configurations for that. And then with remote, everyone is remote at one point or another. So being able to use, again, secure Wi-Fi, doing two-factor for your VPN tunnels, and be able to auto-configure devices using scripts to existing iOS or Windows machines, or a client device or client software that we also sell that works with Mac and Windows, so that you can integrate VPN tunnels that way as well. So we're also broken into effortless, simplicity, flexibility, and ultimate as well for the small business, to the small, medium enterprise, to project verticals like schools and hospitality for these types of solutions. We do have a new product that has been released, and this is a subscriptionless a product with Wi-Fi 6E built into it. It is a firewall solution. Our USG Lite 60AX has built-in ransomware protection, built-in Wi-Fi 6 meshing, so it can mesh Wi-Fi wise to all of our Nebula capable and mesh capable APs. So then you can manage it all, but it also comes now with dual multi-gig 2.5. So you can use 2.5 gig as the WAN and then have a 2.5 port on the LAN as well, if you had some devices that need 2.5, or maybe it's going to a 2.5 gig switch, right? So it depends on what you're using it for. Auto VPN capable for either site to site, or for maybe for remote access, to the device from a client as well. We do have an upgrade pack called an Elite pack. It's an optional upgrade, gives you additional functionality and security applications like content filtering and real-time ransomware blocking. It gives you real-time monitoring and reporting through that Secure Reporter through the cloud. So it gives you the same kind of information on the threats like ransomware, malware that's coming from it as well. It makes it simple for MSPs, somebody who's standardizing on an entry-level kind of small business router or home office router, or maybe even a coffee shop or a POS system. This is perfect for those applications. But on the kind of the mainstream product level, most of our partners use our USG Flex series. This gives you the option of using a hardware-only device or bundled with UTM licenses, so all of those security licenses. Just as a refresher or reminder, all of our bundled models like USG Flex 100, let's say BUN, they now come standard with the gold licensing package. So when you buy it, you're going to get the full-fledged sandboxing, URL threat filtering, the whole gamut of security for 1 year, including Nebula Pro. So take advantage of that. And then, of course, if the customer doesn't need or want to, renew in the full-fledged gold package, you can then just, upgrade or downgrade them in a sense to the UTM package, which has everything except for sandboxing, URL threat filtering in there, and secure Wi-Fi. So some of those functions are not available in the standard UTM license versus the gold. But of course, once most people who are on the gold, they stay with the gold because they want that full-fledged security, that security stance there. And then the USG Flex H series is our high-powered, high-performance capable. Some of the models also include integrated PoE as well, but it does give you multi-gig connections on the higher end models, or even up to 10 gig on the highest end 700Hs there. And all of these are cloud manageable. We're going to have full standalone and via Nebula control in October. So right now it's an SSH tunnel through Nebula to get to the interface or how to configure it. But then it's going to get mapped. That same configuration is getting mapped to the Nebula side, so that you can just do it within Nebula. So however you decide to choose, whether you log into the device and get the GUI to configure it, or you do it in the cloud, it's going to be that same configuration experience there. But it's great for connecting teleworkers on that smaller space. So you have your SCR50AX and now our USG Lite 60AX with multi-gig. You can then use it in the office space, maybe larger offices as well, with our USG Flex H series, that maybe they're getting, multi-gig internet connections. So that's where the H series would go. So people do ask, like, when do I go to a USG Flex, or when do I choose a USG Flex H? So if you're USG Flex, if you're just looking at, hey, everybody is like less than 500 megs, kind of office space, and just need some budget level, cost is a concern, things like that. But for a little bit more, if they want to future proof it, and they may consider getting gigabit or multi-gig internet in the future, if it's offered for their office, then the H series will be their better option there for them. So it's made to connect offices via VPN, either site to site, multi-site, hub spoke. IPsec clients can then connect to those office spaces as well through those devices for those tunnels. So we also have high availability within those tunnels. So if you do have multiple internet connections, it can do the load balancing or fail over to the other VPN tunnel to maintain the connectivity as you need. So that was kind of a quick wrap through a lot of slides and a lot of words, but a lot of products. But that's what we're proud of. We are providing a solution across the board, and many of our vendors, competitors, may do one or two of those network stacks, but it's harder to find unless you go to the enterprise level, where they do truly offer a full stack, where we do switches, gateways, and access points. Um, well on any independent level, but then of course all tied in together under the Nebula Cloud platform. So if you are part of our program, our Zyxel approved partner program, there's 3 tiers: bronze, silver, and gold. We would love for you to get to the gold side. If you are looking for some extra incentives as well, the gold package gives you a lot of that. We put the minimum qualifying sales at a very low rate compared to a lot of other vendors out there, because we just want you to prove, at least at some basic level, that you have, some loyalty with Zyxel and that you want to lead with Zyxel. So we want to give you the best offering for margin support there. DNH, Ingram, TD Synnex, Wave, Target, Distribution, Pace, and we just launched in Canada with Blue Star. So those are our main distributors that we work with. Again, work with your sales reps to, if you have any questions, if you have deal registrations, you want to deal reg things, or you have a competitive application or a competitive product that we need to do some sort of price matching or at least comparison, reach out to David, Andy, or Jacob on that and work with them on that. If you'd like to connect with us, we are on LinkedIn, Zyxel-US-channel, if you'd like to send a request there. I'm also on LinkedIn as well. If you want to search for Zyxel Tri, so Zyxel-Tri, you'll find me, a picture of me there that you can link in as well. So I would love for you to connect. On YouTube, if you want to find more information on different videos, including this one after it's finished recording, as Zyxel America channel. There's a lot of help tools there too. There's also another Zyxel YouTube channel that gives you these 2 to 3 minute snippets on how to configure, how to use different applications, different products in certain scenarios. That could be interesting for you to watch and get a little bit more information on specific products and applications and solutions. So we'll also be releasing a new case study as well coming soon. Within the next few days, and for you to be able to see that. We're proud of the success that we've had with one of our partners there, from a fiber security standpoint, or fiber solution standpoint, as well as a Wi-Fi solution standpoint. So if you have any other questions, um, please feel free. We have a couple minutes here. If you do want to ask any questions, again, use the Q&A section to send me some questions. If not, you can always email me. My email is tri@zyxel.com. So if you don't think of anything now and you want to think of, or you have some questions later, or some comments, feedback, or maybe even topics that you like to have us dive deeper into, or maybe certain applications or scenarios, or if some of you might be interested in becoming a a representative of VAR to come and speak about the solutions, how you use Zyxel, in one of these webinars, that would be great as well. So reach out to me, tri@zyxel.com. So it looks like there's no other questions right now. So I must have done a great job, or there were just so many words that we all fell asleep, but that's okay. You got information. So I hope you take away something here, and have learn something new if you've come back. But we do these every month, and so there are some updates every time. But just keep watch for all the other new webinars that we have on the very different topics that are out there. So I'll give you these few minutes back, the last 5 minutes before 12 o'clock. So I'll just say thank you for joining me. Thank you for being a partner, for looking at becoming a partner, and hopefully these solutions can help you, and we can work together with you. Michael did ask, where can we get the recorded sessions? So you'll also get an email after uh, from the marketing side that will give you a link to the recorded, as well as the on the YouTube, on that YouTube channel. We'll have the recording, or you can go to our website. In our website, we will list this one and any previous webinars that we've done in the past. You'll see that in the webinar section on our website. So if you go there in the top page, you should see some webinar links there. So you should be able to get to our previous. You might have to click on previous webinars to see kind of the history of what we've done already. You might have to click on more as well to give you a list of more webinars that we've done in the past. A lot of cool topics that you might want to, if you have time, to invest in learning more. Oh, and I also wanted to pitch, we do have a certification education site as well. So if you'd like to participate in that and become Zyxel certified as a sales or as a partner, if you have engineers that want to be certified as well, there is a paywall there, but reach out to your sales rep and say, hey, I would like to have a voucher coupon to be able to take these certification courses. So reach out to your sales rep and ask them for that, and we can give those to you for free. So that's a benefit of being a partner with Zyxel. So again, thank you for your time. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your morning and afternoon. Again, my name is Try, and we look forward to talking to you and talking to you again soon. Take care.